Hi everyone, and welcome back to my developmental Q&A series where I answer real questions from parents just like you. Today's question is one that I receive almost every single day. How do I get my baby to roll? If your baby is not rolling yet, or if they're only rolling in one direction, you are definitely not alone. As a pediatric physical therapist, I actually don't spend a lot of time teaching babies to roll by simply flipping them over. Instead, I focus on building the strength, mobility, balance, and movement patterns that allow babies to discover rolling on their own. Right now, I'm going to show you exactly how I like to encourage rolling, a few activities that you can start today, and when it might be time to seek additional support. Let's jump in. Before we talk about how to help, let's first talk about when we expect rolling to happen. Most babies begin rolling somewhere between 4 and 6 months of age. And if your baby was born prematurely, remember to use the corrected age, not their chronological age. Many babies accidentally roll from belly to back first because their head is relatively heavy. Pushing up during tummy time, they may shift their weight just enough to topple themselves over. Rolling from back to belly is usually a little bit more difficult. It requires stronger ab muscles, better trunk rotation, improved coordination, and the ability to shift their weight against gravity. Some babies roll belly to back first, some babies roll back to belly first, others master both right around the same time. What's most important isn't which direction comes first, it's that we continue to see progress. There are several reasons why a baby might not be rolling yet. Sometimes they simply haven't developed enough strength through tummy time. Sometimes they have limited trunk rotation or hip mobility. Occasionally, babies have tightness in their back or their trunk, like torticollis, which can make rolling more difficult. Other babies haven't had the opportunities to practice because they're spending a lot of time in containers like swings, loungers, or bouncers. And sometimes they're just content where they are. The important thing to remember is this. Rolling isn't just about getting from point A to point B. It's about learning to rotate, shift weight, activate the core, and coordinate both sides of the body together. Those are the skills we're really trying to build. Let's start with back to belly. My favorite way to encourage this movement is actually with a toy. Instead of grabbing your baby's legs and rolling them over, hold the toy just above one shoulder and move it slowly towards the side of their body. Allow your baby to visually track the toy, and as they follow the toy with their eyes, their head will begin to turn. Then the shoulders will begin to rotate, the trunk follows, and finally the hips rotate, completing the roll. I love this method because your baby is actively participating in the movement instead of being passively rolled. Now let's talk about belly to back. There are 4 different ways that I commonly assist this transition. Method 1 is over the shoulder. Use a toy to encourage your baby to look up over one shoulder. That head turn often starts the rolling sequence naturally. Method 2 is freeing the arm. Sometimes babies get stuck because the lower arm is trapped underneath them. So simply holding that arm and helping that arm move forward can be all they need to complete the rolling independently. Method 3 is using a toy. Let visual tracking do the work. Move the toy slowly around to encourage head rotation, shoulder rotation, trunk rotation, and eventually the hips. Method 4 is initiating from the hips. If your baby needs just a little more assistance, gently guide one side of the pelvis while allowing them to finish the movement themselves. Whenever possible, I try to provide the least amount of assistance necessary. My goal isn't to roll the baby. My goal is to help the baby learn to roll. Now let's talk about activities I use most often. There are building blocks that help babies learn to roll naturally. Activity 1 is sideline play. If you've followed me for a while, you've probably heard me talk about sideline. That's because it's one of my favorite developmental positions. Place your baby on their side with a towel roll behind the back if they need a little support. Offer toys right at eye level. Encourage them to react with both hands. Move the toy slightly higher, slightly lower, and slightly forward. Sideline teaches babies to rotate, balance, and shift weight while making the transition between their back and their belly much easier. Activity 2 is mobility work. Sometimes babies need a little extra mobility before rolling comfortably. A few gentle activities I love include bicycle legs, bringing the feet towards the hands, gentle trunk rotation, and moving through a comfortable range of motion during play. These should not be forceful stretches. The goal is simply helping your baby become comfortable rotating through these different positions. Activity 3 is reaching across midline. When your baby is lying on their back, hold a toy just across the center of their body. Encourage them to reach across with one arm. This simple movement begins teaching trunk rotation, which is one of the biggest components of rolling. Activity 4 is tummy time weight shifts. During tummy time, slowly move a toy side to side. Encourage your baby to shift weight onto one arm while reaching with the other. This builds shoulder stability, trunk strength, and the weight shifting required for rolling. These activities don't just help rolling. They also prepare babies for future milestones like sitting, crawling, and transitioning between. There are a few common mistakes that I see parents make all of the time. The first is rolling their baby over every single time. Remember, our goal is active participation, not passive movement. Another mistake is pulling only on the legs. Rolling starts with the eyes and the head, then progresses through the shoulders, trunk, and finally the hips. I also see families avoiding tummy time because their baby just doesn't like it. The reality is tummy time is one of the best ways to build the strength needed for rolling. Finally, don't practice only one direction. Babies should have opportunities to roll both ways and towards both sides. Most babies eventually figure out rolling with practice. However, I recommend speaking with your pediatrician or pediatric physical therapist if your baby isn't attempting to roll by around 6 months of age. Remember, adjust for prematurity. They only roll in one direction. They always seem to get stuck. Your baby feels unusually stiff or unusually floppy, strongly prefers only turning one direction, or you simply notice that they aren't making progress. Early intervention is always easier than waiting. So let's review. Rolling isn't something that we force. It's something we prepare babies for. Focus on mobility, trunk rotation, weight shifting, side lying, tummy time, and opportunities to practice. When we build the foundational skills, rolling usually follows. I hope that this answered your question. If it did, I would love for you to subscribe because every week I'm answering real developmental questions submitted by parents just like you. If you're looking for step-by-step developmental activities organized by milestone, be sure to check out my developmental guides linked below. And if your baby has unique challenges or you're looking for individualized support, you can also book a developmental review. If you have a question you would like featured in a future episode, leave it in a comment below.